Welcome to this explainer. Okay, let's dive right in. Have you ever felt like you're just dragging yourself to work every single day? Like your career has completely flatlined, and no matter how hard you push, you just can't seem to break through that invisible ceiling? Well, you're not alone. Today, we are tackling career burnout and stagnation head-on, and we're doing it with a highly pragmatic, mature approach to self-improvement. We're going to unpack some incredibly powerful concepts from Jeff Keller's work. And to make sure this really sticks, we'll be leaning heavily on some great photos and diagrams. Because honestly, seeing these frameworks visually is the absolute best way to lock these ideas into your mind. We're going to ground our journey today in Jeff Keller's actual real-life transformation. Just take a look at the stark contrast in this photo. In his late 20s, Keller was a deeply depressed lawyer. Look at that hunched, pain-stricken figure. He was literally chained to his misery. The stress was actually manifesting as sheer physical pain. He had constant headaches, a churning stomach, the whole shebang. But here's the crazy part. Doctors couldn't find a single physical thing wrong with him. Spiritually, though, he was totally drained. But he managed to break those chains, making a radical shift from a miserable attorney to a highly motivated professional and speaker. And how he engineered that incredible transformation is exactly what we are exploring today. So here is our roadmap for today. 1. The dirty window. 2. You are a human magnet. 3. Watch your words. 4. The power of visualization. And 5. Networking and action. It's a highly actionable think, speak, act progression designed to completely overhaul your professional trajectory. Let's get into it. Part 1. The dirty window. Seeing the world clearly. Let's examine the mental window through which we view our daily reality. Look at the diagram we've got here comparing Sarah and Sam. This perfectly visualizes the concept. They go to the exact same coffee shop on their lunch break. They have the exact same waitress, wait the exact same amount of time, and get the exact same quality meal. Yet look at Sarah on the left. She is framed by a bright, clean window. She's glowing with positive body language, having a nice chat, and completely recharging her battery. Now look at Sam on the right, framed by that mud-splattered window. He scowls, hunches over, complains about the wait, and leaves totally miserable. This diagram shows us exactly how a dirty mental window ruins our day, even when the external circumstances are identical. Sam's world isn't inherently worse. His lens is just absolutely filthy. But here's the good news. Taking control of this window is a deliberate choice. You are the one holding the squeegee. Just consider this profound realization from Dr. Viktor Frankl. He survived the unimaginable horrors of Nazi death camps and lost his entire family. Yet, he realized that the ultimate human freedom is the ability to choose your attitude in any given set of circumstances. Your external environment simply doesn't dictate your internal state, unless you willingly surrender that control. Moving on to part 2, you are a human magnet, the law of dominant thought. This brings us to the undeniable principle that we attract exactly what we dominantly focus on. As Henry Ford famously stated, whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. It's literally a magnetic pull. I love the visual here on this slide. That illuminated light bulb completely fused with the magnet. Think about it. If you spend 16 hours a day focusing on failure, 10 seconds of positive thinking isn't going to save you, right? Your dominant thoughts rule the day. Keller applied this exact law to overcome his own crippling doubts. For years, he wanted to buy investment properties, but he always magnetically attracted the worst-case scenarios in his mind. But once he cleaned his mental window, he focused obsessively on the positive outcome. And the result? He successfully purchased 2 real estate investment homes in 1986. He became a literal magnet for what he was dominantly thinking about. All right, part 3. Watch your words, the vocabulary of success. We're transitioning now from the think phase to the speak phase, because what you say out loud is what you program your subconscious to believe. Check out that eraser graphic on the slide, aggressively scrubbing out negativity. You literally need to erase I can't and impossible from your daily vocabulary. Stop programming your brain to believe you're no good at math or terrible at remembering names. But honestly, the most actionable shift is that highlighted response right there at the bottom. When someone asks, "How are you?" skip the usual hanging in there or surviving, even if you just spilled hot coffee all over your shirt. Respond with a high energy, terrific. Even if you don't fully feel it right then, act as if you do. By doing this, your posture changes, your physiology shifts, and you immediately become a beacon of positive energy that attracts better opportunities. It's a real game changer. Which brings us to part 4, the power of visualization, crafting your future. This is where we cement everything, using mental movies and visual reminders. Physical artifacts serve as concrete anchors for your subconscious. Look at the diagram of this attitude lapel pin acting as a central hub, radiating outward. On one side, it constantly programs the brain's focus, keeping those goals front and center. On the other, it manifests into tangible financial success. It's not just a piece of metal, guys. It's a continuous visual trigger. It completely mirrors that famous story of Jim Carrey writing himself a post-dated check for $10 million for acting services rendered and keeping it in his wallet for years. By surrounding yourself with visual aids like this, you're constantly running a positive mental movie of your own future success. And the visual reinforcement doesn't have to stop there. Check out the photos here. You can actively integrate these reminders into your daily environment. Imagine drinking your morning coffee from one of those branded mugs, or throwing on that half-and-half attitude shirt on the weekend. By doing this, you ensure the law of dominant thought is working for you all day long. You are physically immersing yourself in the visual representation of the exact attitude you want to embody. Finally, Part 5, Networking and Action. Heaven helps those who act. So, how do we translate this internal mindset into external action? Well, it's actually a brilliant strategic networking tool. Look at this interconnected web radiating outward in the diagram. Keller masterfully uses his branded attitude shirts to create natural icebreakers at the gym. He intentionally places himself in a position where strangers will just naturally approach him to ask about the logo on his chest. And because his mental window is sparkling clean and his energy is inviting, he effortlessly turns those casual, everyday interactions into incredibly valuable professional connections. Once you've actually made a connection, how do you build out that powerful network? You follow this direct pipeline. Look at step 1 with the little gift icon. Serve others first. Don't be a taker. Ask how you can genuinely help them, or forward a relevant article. Step 2, represented by the ear icon, be an active listener. This is Dale Carnegie 101. Let people talk about themselves. And step 3, send a prompt follow-up note within 48 hours. Almost nobody takes the time to write that message, which means if you do, you instantly stand out from the crowd. As we pull all these pillars together, I want you to reflect on this brilliant quote from William Shakespeare. There is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. Look at that winding, complex pathway in the diagram on the right. Just like cars navigating that road, our external circumstances, the terrible traffic, the delayed promotion, a difficult client, they do not actually dictate our success. Our internal interpretation of them does. If you wash your mental window, those daunting obstacles simply transform into manageable stepping stones. Which leaves us with this final provocative thought from Dr. Charles Swindoll. Life is 10% what happens to you and a massive 90% how you react to it. You have one string to play on, and that is your attitude. So here is the ultimate challenge. You now have the visual tools, you have the vocabulary, and you have the action plan. How will you choose to react to your next 90%? Start washing that window today. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I genuinely hope you leave here feeling absolutely terrific.